What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about signs he's emotionally unavailable, and it's going to be a two-parter. So this is part one. There were so many that I have to break it down in two videos. Sign number one that a man is emotionally unavailable. When you're out of sight, you're really out of mind, or at least it feels that way. So many women I speak to talk about how they haven't talked to the guy that they're dating or have been on the date with in a few days. They really only get contacted when a date is being planned or when a meetup is happening or when he wants something from them, right? Whatever that might be. If you're not hearing from a guy when you're away from him, if it feels like when you're out of sight, you're really out of mind, it's not because he's busy. It's because he's emotionally unavailable. He's not thinking about you, and he's not feeling anything for you when you're away. Whatever shiny object is in front of him, that's what's important at the time. And if a guy doesn't like you enough to be distracted by you when he's away from you, to be thinking about you, to be bridging that gap physically with phone calls or text messages or any kind of contact like that, it's likely that he's emotionally unavailable or he's just not that into you. So moving on, the second sign that a man is emotionally unavailable is he always leans on being busy with work. And he does this as an excuse to why he hasn't reached out more. I'm gonna be honest, ladies, most of us don't shit, shower, and shave at work. We all have times where we're at home and we're not doing much of anything. Even people who are busy have 5 or 10 minutes. So many women I speak to think they're dating the busiest guy that ever existed, when in fact, he's just too busy for them. People make time for what's important to them. I've never heard a woman complain about how this busy guy won't watch a game with his friends or go to a bar or go on a work trip to a vacation spot. These guys always seem to be able to mix a little bit of pleasure in with business, even if it's on the company tab that they own. But somehow or another, the woman that they're supposed to be falling for or dating or just screwing at the time doesn't even know how to get in touch with him if she needs something. After some neglect, she says, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "I've just been busy with work." As if he lives there, as if he literally has a cot there. And even the guys who literally have a cot at work are choosing work over their relationships. That's not a good sign. For the most part, that's not the case though. Men go home, they enjoy themselves, they watch a little bit of TV, they do this, they do that. That's not to say that you deserve their personal time or a significant chunk of it, but it is to say that he is available to speak to you for 5 or 10 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. He's available to text you between visits. If he's not doing that, it's not because he's too busy at work. It's because he's not interested enough in you to take that time. It's because you're not important enough, or women in general, or his social life isn't important enough. You never want to put yourself in a position where you're trying to compete for a workaholic's attention, because unless you're paying him, you won't win that game. But most of these guys aren't workaholics. They just know that their work is a sector of their lives that you don't quite understand. And so they use that to keep you in your place when you try to step out of line and demand a little bit more time. And again, you shouldn't have to demand time. A man should be willing to give of himself and his time if he's interested in you. Men who are interested in you are emotionally unavailable, if not even just to you. Moving on, the third sign that a man is emotionally unavailable is he may be avoidant of spending non-sexual time or non-entertainment based time. Too many women are dating guys who they have to be doing something fun with or they have to be having sex with to spend time around them. If a guy won't just hang out with you and just do nothing with you, it can be a bad sign. So just because a guy keeps making plans and keeps trying to be exciting, doesn't necessarily mean he's into you. It just means he knows how to entertain a woman to keep getting in her pants. Not that that's all of our goals, but if a guy is only entertaining you and he's not just spending time with you, he's not just getting to know you, he won't just talk to you on the phone, you can't just be regular and normal, you can't have a boring day with each other, you have to be having sex or having some kind of fun or entertainment just to be in each other's presence, it's likely he's emotionally unavailable. He's distracting you and all your deeper ideas with entertainment, with shiny objects. If you become a guy's pastime, but you don't become his real interest, he's emotionally unavailable to you. A guy should be willing to be bored with you. Moving on, the fourth sign that a guy is emotionally unavailable is they don't seem to be clear on anything they think, believe, or want in life, especially as it pertains to relationships. They never know shit about shit. They either don't know, aren't sure, or can't really say what they're looking for. but they're spending a bunch of time with you being very fun, having great sex, but they can't answer a question. They don't know what they want. They're so ambiguous about everything. Everything is just some fuzzy response about, I don't know, one day, maybe, when the time is right. Nothing is certain, nothing is concrete, nothing is precise. They can't give you a straight answer to save their lives. Everything looks like a squiggle when it comes out of their mouth. A man who doesn't seem to know anything, a man who doesn't have a straight answer, a man who hides behind ambiguity in every answer he gives you is likely emotionally unavailable. Men who want love know they want love. They're expressive about what they want, even if it's not with you. Even if they're not sure of what they want with you, they're very sure about what they want and what they're trying to get. They're just bartering time for sex to entertain themselves with situationships. The fifth sign a man is emotionally unavailable is he hates questions. Oftentimes, these guys that are bullshitting women who don't have any plans for them, who are just trying to get as much sex in the least amount of effort that they can give a woman, hate an inquisitive woman. They do not want to be asked questions. They do not want to be cornered to give any kind of certainty to a woman. They realize that their power lies in the woman's uncertainty. The anxious woman, the insecure woman, the uncertain woman does more to bridge the gap in lackadaisical situationships than women who know what they want and require that. The inquisitive woman gets on his nerves because she corners him. She forces him to be honest. And honesty doesn't always lead to where men want it to lead. So they would much rather you not ask questions so that you don't have to make a hard decision about removing them from your life. And they would also want to just avoid making any promises at all and setting any expectations. And questions lead to expectations, especially if they give you the answer you're looking for. And giving you the answers that you don't want to hear often leads to issues and a bunch of emotional conversations that they don't want to have anyway. So they hate questions. They don't even want to deal with questions. They want a woman who can shut up and just be fun. So if you find yourself a little bit anxious around asking a guy a question, ask yourself, have you been programmed or nudged in this direction where you don't ask questions? Have you been taught through his responses to not ask questions? Many times a man will give you negative energy and a negative answer to discourage you from being too inquisitive, because he is emotionally unavailable and he wants to keep having fun with you before things go bad. With that said, the sixth sign that a man is emotionally unavailable is they punish you with distance, especially if you ask too many questions. If you try to have too many deep conversations with intimacy and vulnerability, they will punish you with distance. They'll be like, you know what, you tripping, I'm gonna give you some time. And then they go away, and then you find yourself trying to figure out how to get back in touch with them or where they've been, and they tell you they've been busy with work when you finally get to them. But they punish you with distance. They do this to kill expectation. Distance murders expectation. A woman can start to feel entitled to your time. A woman can start to feel expectant of a certain type of effort or respect level from you. And that distance kills all of that. It shoots down hopes and dreams. Whatever progress a woman might think she's making with a guy that entitles her to his loyalty or an expectation of his time or consideration is all shut down. It all falls down when he gives her a little bit of distance. And so guys do this. They manage distance to manage expectation or to kill it. They often do this with women who aren't accepting the boundaries of a situationship or sex-only relationship. They do this as a way to put a woman in her place without ever saying a word. The last sign a guy's emotionally unavailable in this video, and then we'll do a part 2, is you feel quarantined in his life. Like if his life is a dresser, you might feel like one drawer in that dresser or one neatly stacked pile of shirts in a corner of that drawer. Or you might feel like a puppy that he keeps in a cage, it's crated, that he brings out to play for a little while and then he puts right back in the cage. You never get to roam. You never get to explore around him. You stay in your little position in his life. And when he's ready for you, you come out to play, and then you go back into that little small confined space. Guys do that because if a woman can explore a guy's life and get exposed to a lot of things, she starts to become expectant of more. She starts to become expectant of becoming a part of those other things in his life eventually. She wants to meet family. She wants to hang out around friends. She wants to come to social events. She wants to be on his arm. A guy who's emotionally unavailable doesn't want that. He's not looking for company or companionship. He's looking for entertainment. Everybody has their neat little place in his life. He's compartmentalized the women in his life. And you're in a little compartment and you cannot sneak outside of that compartment. Stay in your place is what he's trying to tell you when you feel like you've been quarantined into a little corner of a guy's life. So if you find yourself experiencing any of these 7 things, you are most likely dealing with the guy who's emotionally unavailable, if not just to you. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Follow me at KidVic24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.